Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to this special edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. It is that time of the week again to count down the 10 hottest cards of the week. First off, Dominaria United is having a huge impact on the Commander format. A lot of players scrambling to put together some new Commander decks, and that is the key driver for cards going up in this video today overall. But there are other things happening in the market. We are getting the Warhammer 40k Commander deck previews this week. They're starting to influence some prices too. We'll get into all those details in just a second, but first a quick reminder. If you go to FlipsideGaming.com, you can use the Heroes promo code to save 10% on orders over $10. Currently, you can pick up Dominaria United products there. They also did have the Warhammer 40k decks available for pre-order, but at time of recording, they are currently sold out. You may want to check back occasionally to see if they restock, though. Plus, they have a whole lot of other things on their website, too. Remember, if your order's over $100 or consists only of singles, shipping will be free in the United States. Also, whenever you use the Heroes promo code, it does support the channel, which is always appreciated, so thank you. And without any further ado, let's get into it. Number 10 is Isika, God of the Tree, up 210 this week to 1016. That is a 26% increase. And this is a good time to let you know how we compile our top 10 every week. We look for two pieces of criteria. The first is a percentage increase in the value of the cards. And secondly, we want to see a true increase in the number of sales out there. If you're expecting a card to be in this top 10 and it does not make it, well, then it fell short in one or both of those categories this week. With that out of the way, though, let's talk more about Isika, God of the Tree. This has been a popular commander and in the 99 in many builds, but it's even more popular now thanks to Dominaria United and its support for legendary spells. You'll find this in a new build around a card from the main set that a lot of players are trying to put together, and that is Jodah the Unifier. Isika is also a good upgrade to the Painbow commander deck, and it is showing up in fresh builds around a couple cards from there too. Jared Carthalion and Jensen Carthalion Druid Exile. Number 9 is Mystic Forge, up 258 to 1402. That is a 23% increase. And this is moving mostly because of Modern this week. It's in Prison Tron, Eldrazi Tron, and Dice Factory there. But Prison Tron came in first place in one of the Star City Games Modern 20k tournaments recently. And ever since then, this card's been moving relatively aggressively. In Vintage, you see this in Prison Shops. It's also in a lot of Commander decks, though, including a couple new ones. Murray, a Scholar of Antiquity, and to a lesser degree, Sten Paranoid Partisan. Aside from all that, this was also mentioned on an episode of the Command Zone podcast this week as a card you might want to play in a build around one of the new Dominaria United box toppers. The card was Aisha Tanaka Armorer, and this card being in that episode may have brought some attention to it. Number 8 is Yoshimaru, Ever Faithful, up 261 this week to 588. That is an 80% increase. It is seeing a big increase in commander play because of Dominaria United. It's in new builds like Jodah the Unifier, Radadrabic of Urborg, plus it's a good upgrade to the Legends Legacy commander deck, and I'm seeing it in fresh builds around a couple cards from there. Dihada Binder of Wills and Shannon Sleeper's Scourge. This also got a mention on the Command Zone podcast as a card you might want to play in a build around another one of the new box toppers. This time it was Jedit Ojanin Mercenary. Number 7, Untied Ake the Cloudkeeper. This goes up to 270 this week to 599. That is an 82% increase. And this is another card seeing much more commander play now because of Dominaria United cards. It's a good upgrade to the Legends Legacy commander deck, also in fresh builds around those cards I mentioned a moment ago, Dihada and Shannon. In fact, it was in a Dihada deck on a Game Nights episode of the Command Zone podcast this week. Plus, it is found in other new commander builds too. Jodah the Unifier, Radadrabic of Urborg, Kadric Soul Kindler, and the Peregrine Dynamo. Number 6 is Black Market Connections, up 513 this week to 34.99. That is a 17% increase. This is from the Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate Party Time Commander deck, and we've talked a lot about this card recently. It's just a solid commander card. It's showing up in a lot of builds. But guess what? It's getting more play now in some new commander decks as well. Zur Eternal Schemer, Sheoldred the Apocalypse, Braids Arisen Nightmare, Torwoki the Younger, that one's a box topper. This is also a good upgrade to the Legends Legacy commander deck, and it's also in fresh builds around Dihada. Number 5, Ramos Dragon Engine from Commander 2017. This card only comes in foil. It goes up $7.27 this week to $25.99. That is a 39% increase. So this is a fairly popular commander and has been in the 99 of a number of builds, including the Dragon. But now, you guessed it, it's seeing more play in Commander because of Dominaria United. It is in some builds around Jodah the Unifier. It's also a good upgrade to the Painbow Commander deck, and it was mentioned as such in a recent episode of the Command Zone podcast. I've seen it in new builds around a couple cards from that deck too. Jared Carthalion and Jensen Carthalion Druid Exile again. Number 4 is Auntie's Hovel. This goes up $12.09 this week to $29.92. That's a 68% increase. This card really has dried up online over the course of the last week or so. Now, we did see some Goblin support in Dominaria United, but so far that hasn't really translated into gameplay yet. In Modern, this is in Goblin builds, and those decks have been doing pretty well recently. It's also in Goblin-centric commander builds like Wart, Bogart, Auntie. Number 3, Cezanne, Perverter of Truth. This goes up $13.22 to $22.29. That is a 146% increase if you're doing the math at home. And this is also getting a big push because of a new commander build. Again, a card from Dominaria United. This time it is Sheoldred the Apocalypse. Additionally, though, there's at least a light demon theme in one of the upcoming Warhammer 40k commander decks. The deck is called the Ruinous Powers, and let's take a look at one of the legendary creatures that's been previewed already. Be'lakor the Dark Master. This could be an interesting demon commander that might want Cezanne in the build. Number 2, Captain Sisay from Invasion of 1608 to 3947. That's a 69% increase. This currently gets some play as a commander, and it's in the 99 of some builds too, but as you might have guessed, if you've been paying attention to this video, most likely all these cards are moving up, at least in part because of Dominaria United, and this one's no exception. This is in Jodah the Unifier commander builds. In fact, it was a card mentioned as something you might want to include in one of those decks in a recent Tolarian Community College video. This was also talked about on the Command Zone podcast this week as another card you might want for that Jedit Ojanin Mercenary build. Number 1 is a card we've talked about a lot recently. It is Minsc and Boo Timeless Heroes of $16.17 to $30. That is a 117% increase. So this jumped pretty aggressively this week. As a matter of fact, the borderless copy is slightly cheaper than the regular one right now, which actually isn't too unusual for newer sets. Typically, stores will do mass collector booster box openings at the time of release, which means at least for a period of time, you're going to get a lot of these specialty cards in circulation. I assume you'll see that borderless copy moving up a little bit pretty soon too, though. Now, the question is, why is this card moving the way it is? Well, we've talked about this before, but it is starting to appear many times in some legacy builds. 5-color Zenith, 4-color Stoneblade, sometimes Naiad Depths. This is also a fairly popular new commander appearing in the 99 of some builds too, including a new one, Jodah the Unifier. But the reason I think you're seeing such a big jump right now ties into Warhammer 40k previews. One of the decks is called Tyrannid Swarm, and it appears Minsc and Boo could be a pretty good upgrade there. In fact, it could interact directly with a number of cards within that deck. I'm going to show you a bunch of those cards now, but remember, when it comes to color identities, some things you might want to do won't be compatible. But regardless, all these cards will either be able to be in a Minsc and Boo deck, use Minsc and Boo in the 99, or just want to be alongside the card within the 99. So let's look at the legendary creatures first. There's 4 of them in this deck. I'm not going to spend too much time on these preview cards because there's a lot of them I want to show you quickly. But if you want to read them and spend a little more time with them, feel free to pause the video. This next page has 10 more cards, 9 of which are Tyrannid creatures, and there's 1 artifact equipment here too. And on this last page, we have 9 more cards. We have 7 Tyrannid creatures, plus a saga and a vehicle. Alright, that's going to do it for our top 10 hot cards of the week, but remember to join us this weekend for our regular episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch, where we deep dive into everything that happens in the secondary market. Until then, though, stay safe out there. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page, as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.